This program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Hello, we're back once again. Fletch Nation, another fine episode here. This is the Christmas show.
Oh.
As we, it is the 21st. It is the winter solstice, the first day of winter, as we record the program here at the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse in Baton Rouge on Coursey Boulevard. How are you, Roy?
Only Kevin would know that.
What, the
solstice?
The solstice?
Yeah.
I thought everybody knew that.
Really?
It's the shortest day of the year, or the longest night, whichever you prefer. But we'll have more hours of darkness this evening than any other night until this time next year.
It's been pretty dark.
Hell yeah. It's not just that it gets dark early. It's the other day when it was so cloudy and rainy, you know, it was like 7:15. It was still dark outside.
I know. I have a problem adjusting when the time changes. I like it later in the day.
Heck yeah.
I don't like it getting late. I don't like it getting late early.
So Roy, question for you.
That's old Yogi Berra thing. It sure gets
like
late
it gets
early
late
out
early.
there. He was talking about left field in Yankee Stadium. Anyway. So Kevin,
did you buy a Christmas present for Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky?
No, we did.
He's expected in Washington any minute now.
He's already there.
Yeah.
He arrived last night.
Is he going to personally take his $100 billion?
And Nancy Pelosi said she wanted everybody there this evening. She sent out a dictate that she wants everybody there this evening.
I think her days of dictating in the House are pretty much over.
They have to vote on something with respect to this, and so it's a little housekeeping problem they have to take care of. The omnibus spending bill, $1.7 trillion, was passed yesterday out of the Senate, going to the House. Of course, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana voted for it.
No, he said he was not. Did he change his mind?
Well, I was looking at this morning at who voted for and what. And
well,
it had his name on it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe if he did, I'd like to know how he voted on it. But sure did look like he was voting for it. $1.7 trillion, of which $100 billion will go to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the Ukraine. We've spent, I don't know how much money there, but let's say just take this $100 billion. You divide that up by every congressional district in the country, and every congressional district would get $200 million.
Wow.
Okay.
That could do a lot of good.
What could we do with $200 million in Garrett Graves' district? How about Troy Carter's district? In any district in Louisiana? We got, we have 6?
Yep.
So
do a whole lot of flood control.
That's $1.2 billion that we don't get in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. That's what that amounts to. So, and the notion that we're fighting the communists with the Russians, we are. But I noticed this past week that Mr. Zelensky was fighting the Russians at Paris dress shops and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, you know.
And dropped a couple of $100,000 over there on.
Freedom's where you find it, Roy.
Freedom pays, don't it? Freedom pays. Crime don't pay. Freedom pays. So that's sort of, and at the same time, we have this disturbance at our border that is completely closed. According to the Biden administration, the border is under control.
Don't you believe it? Of all channels this morning to be watching, and of all channels to hit while flipping through the dial and watching video of people walking across that border completely unchecked,
NBC?
Oh, MSNBC.
Oh my God.
MSNBC
Well,
was
proud.
probably more down with the Biden administration than anybody else in the media game.
You see,
and they're reporting that people just walking across that border.
You see what's
completely
happening
unchecked.
is that what's becoming quite obvious, I think, or if it's not, it should, to the American public, is that this administration lies.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know it. It's not easy. I mean, they said the last one lied, okay? But I got to tell you something. This one is fabrication, melodrama, fantasy land.
Fantasy land, my friend.
I mean, the press secretary says that what happened at January 6th was the greatest disturbance to our democracy, even including the Civil War. She's insane. Because I think it's been very well noted, there were over 600,000 people that died in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person who died on January 6th.
One person was shot, another person died from some kind of medical episode.
Yeah, yes, it was over with, had a heart attack,
Yep.
but the one person that was shot was unarmed.
Yep.
Former veteran, a veteran.
Yep.
So that's how fabricating this administration is. It's unbelievable what's happened in the last week. Last week, after the show, I think it was on Thursday night, Tucker Carlson reported that they had a source that had looked at the 3% of the papers that have not been released on John F. Kennedy's assassination. And this person said to the Tucker Carlson show, as a source, unidentified, but someone who's looked at all of the paper, said they believed that the CIA had John F. Kennedy killed. And not one person in this country has raised a vociferous voice about finding out.
Well, it was a long time ago, Roy.
Wait, hold on. The most defining event, that and 9/11, in my lifetime, for me, the assassination of the President of the United States, done by our own government. Mm-hmm. That's what we're now.
Well,
we used to think that conspiracy thing. What was the dude that made the movie?
Oliver Stone.
Oliver
JFK.
Stone. I thought he was crazy.
But
go back and watch it now, folks.
The JFK assassination was probably the beginning of the deep state as we know it. The shadow government behind the government that runs things. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it precedes that, but I think
it probably preceded it. But that, well, I mean, you know, the overthrow of in Iran was probably in '54 or '53 was probably the beginning of the real deep state in the United States. When we come back, then what I want to do is, we're off on a somber note, but we're going to continue it. I'm sorry, but we're going to Twitter. And we're going to talk about Twitter files.
Happy holidays. Fletch Nation, we'll be right back.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders.
Premier Pest Services.
We are back with Fletch Nation. So glad to have you listening or watching, whatever the case may be. We're seen on fine cable systems all across South Louisiana and heard on 9 radio stations via the Louisiana Radio Network. So, Roy, the Twitter files.
The Twitter files.
This is another story. You mentioned the JFK assassination. Nobody seems to care that at least one expert thinks that the evidence points to the CIA. But now the Twitter files is another story. We got mounting evidence that the FBI colluded with social media platforms to stifle free speech. Nobody seems to care.
Overwhelming evidence now.
Nobody seems to care.
The thing is about the Kennedy assassination is that there's 3% of the paper on that evidence on that assassination that's been bottled up. I can assure you that more than one person knows, okay?
Yep.
That who did it, as they say, and the press in the country, which I'm beginning to believe is not even a press. The press in the country absolutely does not want to follow that story now. Why is that? Why is it not essential to know that your own government killed your own president? It's insanity. But they whisk right by it. But then we turn to something that is happening in real time. Elon Musk pays $44 billion for Twitter. He goes in, he starts to reform the company, take it over, manage the company. And what does he find? He finds what conspiracy theorists have been complaining about for several years, which is that the FBI, the CIA, or at least the intelligence community, I don't want to say the CIA, are all involved in censoring and suppressing speech of the American public. And not just any speech, ladies and gentlemen, political speech.
Conservative political
The United States Supreme Court has said that is the most cherished right that we have is political speech. It is the most cherished right. And the fact is that the government should not be in the business of suppressing speech, political speech in particular. You can burn a flag in this country and it's political speech. Okay? Mm-hmm. You can do whatever it is that the Supreme Court has said is political speech, you can do. But you cannot express yourself on Twitter and other online media operations in a vociferous way if it's not part of the narrative. Am I right? That's what this thing with Twitter is telling us, correct?
That's what is happening. We know that top people at not only Twitter, under what was his name, Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey.
And Facebook, Meta under Mark Zuckerberg. Top people there took meetings on a regular basis with people
the
in the DOJ and the FBI.
We know from the deposition of Elvin Chang, an FBI agent that was in charge of all that there were up to 80 FBI agents involved in monitoring and suppressing speech and dealing with the Twitter people on a way that suppressed conservative speech. Not only were they 80 FBI agents, they gave Twitter executives $3.1 million tax dollars to do just that. What we're talking about. The government was paying the exec. Now, how did that work? Well, the general counsel deputy general counsel for Twitter was James Baker, the former general counsel for the FBI. There were numerous former FBI people in Twitter that Jack Dorsey put in key positions. They had their own back channel system of communication, the FBI agents did. They talked to the former FBI, they talked to each other, and they were talking to their cohorts with the FBI to do one thing: suppress free speech, but particularly to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. They were focused on the hunt, and they were focused on it before the election as well as after the election. The Daily World, an English newspaper, reported a poll I have on my phone, but unfortunately my phone's dead right now. Or almost dead. But I'll regurgitate it. It's a good way to say it. Did a poll of some 1,200 people nationwide, and 500 of them had heard of a little bit of the Twitter thing and of the suppression of the. Most people hadn't heard of the Hunter Biden problem, the Hunter Biden laptop story, and the payoffs of China to Hunter Biden.
That means the suppression was working.
Yeah, the suppression A was working. B, they found that when they did know, they said they would have changed their vote from Biden. So that had, I don't say that it changed the election totally, but it had an enormous impact on what happened in 2020. Now, the argument has been made is that the votes were being fixed in vote machines. That's always been very difficult for me to believe. But I must tell you, the mail ballot stuff is one thing, but the vote machine. But this notion of suppressing a story and doing that, and not the other campaign do it. See, in campaigns, you work really hard to keep the press from reporting something bad on you. That's fair. That's a fair thing. You make your case. You do everything you can to try to keep it from coming out. But when the government is doing it for you, that becomes not problematic. That becomes an infringement of constitutional rights. And it's very, very dangerous, and nobody is really focused on it in the media, are they?
No, I don't hear anything about it.
They will not report what's being reported out of Twitter. And there are legitimate journalists doing the reporting out of the Twitter files.
What they do report from Twitter is anything that can be spun negative, like, Musk has laid off 700 people. It's like, well, most of those 700 people.
Our Tesla stock is going down, or whatever they can do.
He did fire a lot of people.
To attack Elon Musk.
He fired people whose job it was to sit and monitor algorithms that were kicking out keywords and go, oh yeah, close that guy, shut that guy down.
We're going to kick off some keywords here called advertisements, and then we'll be right back. And I want to continue this.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
You know, it's not very often that I will pat myself on the back for being prescient about something, but I gave up Twitter. Like back in 2017, I stopped posting anything on Twitter. Even though I had a boss saying, you need to tweet more, you need more followers on Twitter. And I'd be like, not so much, no, I don't care. And I haven't missed it. Do you tweet? Do you follow Twitter? Do you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm pretty much a fanatic.
Well, you see, I don't know the answer to that question because I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah. But I mean, I do like it. I enjoy it. I mean, it allows me to shoot my mouth off, and so.
You like stirring up the monkeys. I know you, Roy.
That's the whole point. Yeah. Who was that? Peter Gabriel?
Shock the monkey.
Shock the monkey. Yeah. Anyway.
You got to shock the monkey.
I think it was Peter Gabriel.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So anyway, formerly of Genesis.
Yep. Great piece of music.
So that was the early part of the Twitter disclosures. Now the last disclosure yesterday was about the intelligence community was using the FBI as sort of a a front guy, okay? I'm going to put it in that kind of terms. A front man for the intelligence community to operate domestically. Because the intelligence community is not supposed to operate domestically on American citizens.
No.
The FBI does it. So the FBI became sort of the front guy for the intelligence community to do all kinds of things with Twitter to control propaganda and the narrative. Now, here's what gets me is that the intelligence community, if that's what they were doing, they allowed Khomeini of Iran.
Oh yeah.
They allowed all of these
ISIS,
other sleazeballs to stay on Twitter, but they knocked off, parody accounts. They whitelisted accounts, all kind of stuff.
Like satirical political humor accounts were suspended, like Babylon Bee and
all that. So what were they? What was their purpose? And I'm not certain yet what the purpose is. But again, money passed hands.
Yep.
And all we now know is about that. Now, all of this time that the FBI and the intel community was doing this, what was going on Twitter? What do we know we know this because it's been reported what was happening on Twitter? All kinds of child pornography and garbage.
Yeah.
That's what the FBI should have been about. And instead, it just proliferated.
Yep.
And finally, Musk, when he took over, was the first thing he did was to discharge all that stuff off of Twitter that they could find. And I'm sure they're still trying to get it off. Who knows what it takes but that's what was going on, and that involved probably human trafficking. Who knows what all it involved? It's such devious and satanic stuff. I hate to use that word, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it really is.
It's
evil.
But our own government allowed that to stay. That's commercial speech, which does not rise to the level of political speech. They could have taken it over at any point, and they allowed it to stay. But yet they were attacking people that had a discordant voice with respect to the overwhelming narrative that the FBI and the CIA and the intel community wants to promote.
So what do you think is the game here? Do you think that they want America to be all wrapped up in their TV star gossip and their child pornography and their human trafficking and their drug addiction and their
whatever else,
crazy about football and whatever crap that we involve ourselves with so that we're not paying attention to what the government's up to?
I think that's part of it. And I think the other part of it is that in some way they want to continue this conflict, this division, so that a vast majority of the American public does not focus on what their government is actually doing.
A house divided upon itself.
Yes, and I mean, I don't want to think that this world is that devious, but I've come to the conclusion that it just damn well might be. And I mean, when you see the Vice President of the United States say yesterday, I think it was, ask not what Africa can do for us, but what we can do for Africa. The payment of reparations to South Africa by Americans. I mean, all of this has gotten completely...
What?
Yeah.
Exactly. What did we do to South Africa?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we allowed slavery. I don't know, or apartheid, or whatever the case may. I mean, and the English response to it is, what about all those people that sold their brothers and sisters? I mean, come on. I mean, the point being is that
these are the same people who tell you when you're talking about the drug war that you go after the dealer, not the junkie.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
In other words, you don't go after the customer, you go after the supply side. And that's what slavery was about, is they want to punish the supply side 170 years down the road.
All of it's a mess, and we're paying for a very bad thing that occurred. But the truth of the matter is that it makes little to no sense as it relates to America, because when you spend that kind of money in Ukraine, and you spend that kind of money wherever it's being spent in willy-nilly ways, what does that do for this country? What does that do for the individual citizen in America that pays taxes, works hard, and does what they need to do?
Not a damn thing.
And stays out of people's business and lives a normal life, or what we would call somewhat of a normal life. And there is no government in Washington, D.C. that does what it needs to do to address those problems. I mean, there's just not any place that we can see where the minority leader of the United States Senate says the number one problem for Republicans is funding the Ukraine. How out of touch is that?
I would like to think that our southern border is the number one problem for most Republicans.
I would think that, and the $31 trillion in debt that the United States has run up over the last 30, 40 years.
I think Senator McConnell's bought and paid for it. That's all I have to say about him.
Well, anyway, so we'll be right back.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich, voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
So, Kevin, we've been talking about, let's go back to the wall. I mean, to the border. I call it the wall because the wall's not there. Because they didn't finish it. But a couple of things that happened. Title 42, which is sort of the way that was being used to manage the border during the COVID thing.
It's been basically called the Stay in Mexico policy.
That's correct. The Supreme Court now has decided to take that case up, and they put a stay on an order by a district judge in Washington D.C. to end it, and so we're sort of in limbo about it. But what has happened is that over the period of the last several weeks, there has been an avalanche, flood of people collecting and coming across the American border along Mexico. Particularly El Paso has been very, very affected by it. In order to go ahead and be here, and when it ends, and they can come walking on through, and nobody seems to want to do anything about it. Nobody. The governor of Texas, who said that he was sending the National Guard, they're not doing anything to stop it. Mm-hmm. And there's not much you can do except either a barrier or physical force. And nobody wants to engage in the physical force, obviously, for reasons that...
Has anyone tried just standing in their way and saying, no, you don't come past, you don't come in?
I don't know that, because if that happens, guess what's going to happen?
There's going to be a big confrontation.
Somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah, somebody's going to get hurt.
More than one or a bunch. I mean, so that's where we are, and this administration has taken the position that they control the border, which is complete, and the data, I don't care what anybody says, the data says they're wrong.
The data says
they're wrong. That's exactly right. The data says that the wall and the policies of the Trump administration kept it down to a medium roar. And if the wall had been completed, you would not have this problem now. Mm-hmm. It was the Democrats who ended. Well, the Democrats and Paul Ryan that ended the building of the wall. So that's that. Now, I bring up a point, and I'm going to go through this quickly. I mean, Trump, his name just popped up. Trump has gone through a lot. There has been a chorus, a Mormon Tabernacle Choir chorus, kind of chorus, mm-hmm. that Trump has faded and so on and so forth. And the problem with it is, and there's a new poll out yesterday, the problem with it is that it's not true. That his standing among Republicans still remains like a 30-point lead over DeSantis. His party, if he wants it, his policies are still very popular, and it looks to me like, unless, and I think this is where I'm headed, unless he's indicted, then he will probably be the Republican nominee, unless he's indicted. And so what do you think yesterday the January 6th committee did?
They recommended he be indicted.
Yeah, their criminal referral.
Now, their recommendations carry no legal weight whatsoever. It's up to the federal Department of Justice, but this Department of Justice will go, oh yeah, sure, you bet, let's go.
Well, I mean, it seems to me that people better get ready that support Trump. They better get ready for an indictment. They better get ready for him to be arrested publicly and humiliated in any way that they can possibly think of with respect to him and his candidacy and his family.
Yep.
It's coming. It's coming, folks. Because if you can suppress free speech on Twitter, you can arrest a former president. Even people argue now that Nixon should have been arrested, and that long nightmare should have ended with Nixon's arrest and conviction. Whatever. They say would have stopped a guy like Trump. I think that's ridiculous. It doesn't stop a guy like Biden.
Not at all.
Not at all. So it's not going to stop Donald Trump or anybody else. But I think you better get ready for that, folks. I mean, it's coming as sure as the day is long. Because they do not want him to be able to run unaffected, unindicted, or whatever for President of the United States.
Question. Do you see an indictment coming in the Hunter Biden laptop trial or case?
Oh, I think it's going to be for some kind of federal regulatory issue that he failed
to report something.
Well, some garbage. But that's not the issue with him. The issue with him are all of those notices to the Department of Treasury of large amounts of money coming into the United States, going into his account. That's the issue. Follow the money. If they want to do something with respect to Hunter Biden, follow the money. That's what everybody says about Trump. Follow the money. With police, follow the money. That's easy. Jared Kushner, he got $2 billion from the Saudis. Follow the money. Yeah, follow the money. Let's follow the money on both and see which one, where somebody ends up. Because I think you're going to find out that something went on really untoward in the Ukraine and in China with Hunter Biden.
Well, something that you said earlier during the commercial break to me just rings true. I think that America is getting beat down. And they feel
powerless.
Like
feel powerless.
Nothing that we say or do is going to make any difference.
None.
The government's going to do what it wants, and they don't care what we think.
And I'm afraid that that's what's happening to the American public. And they become less interested every day.
They just hope they can get by, and the government will leave them alone. And just let me get through my life, and hope the government
leaves me alone. Will take care of it. One or the other. One or the other.
Also that, yeah.
There's an article this week I read that in about 5-6 different states, people that do not work make more in money than the median incomes of those states. That do not work. People that work, that make making.
So you can make more money on public assistance than you can going out and getting yourself a job if you're not a skilled worker.
Absolutely. That has, and it showed it pretty clearly that it's true. Now, it's not everywhere in America. That's not. So I don't want to mean to put that on everybody, but it's occurred in 4, 5, or 6 states where that's actually the truth.
Wow.
And you can't. If anybody wants to change that, how are you going to change it? You can't. You can't change that. It will not change.
All right,
that's where we are.
We're about to take another quick break, take care of some business. In 3 minutes, we'll return, visit with Attorney John Carmouche, and some final thoughts for the holiday coming up this weekend when Fletch Nation returns.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Back once again with Fletch Nation, coming to you from the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse at 10655.
There you go.
10655 Coursey Boulevard in Baton Rouge.
So Kevin, we're going to John Carmouche in a moment. That just keep people up to date on that. Apparently all of the legal procedures have been undertaken, and they are headed back to state court to try the coastal cases.
Good.
Yeah, so we should start seeing some action on that sometime in the spring, late spring, in whatever parish they choose to commence the lawsuits at. So let's go to John now and one of our conversations. Well, welcome back. We're with John Carmouche, a well-known coastal and environmental lawyer in Louisiana, a land lawyer. And we've been talking about sort of your past and your education and what sort of brought you to the fight for the coast of Louisiana. There's bigger issues, though, it seems, John. There's a new poll out by the New York Times over the weekend, the Siena poll, Siena College poll, that had 13% of the country in a good mood about the direction of the United States. What do you think about the direction of our country?
I think it's going in the wrong way. I mean, it's too divided, Roy. Too much politics. I grew up in a political family, but also grew up believing in the real world. And I think we've lost the touch of actually working together and putting politics aside. You can have your views, and I believe in strong conservative views myself as a Republican, but I also believe in a real world working together. I give the example that, we show up at work every day. There's so many businesses in Louisiana that are huge and making a large difference in Louisiana. They show up to work every day to work together as a business. They don't show up every day to say, are you a Republican, Democrat, Independent? They show up every day, they work together, and they accomplish huge things in Louisiana. But it just seems like as soon as you turn on the political TV,
when you walk in the state capital,
it's politics. And everybody forgets that Louisiana needs to be run like a business. And to do that, you have to work together. And I think we've lost that in this state.
I can't think of a way to get it back either. But the fact is that the point that you're making is that it's a necessity.
It's an absolute necessity. This state needs to turn in the direction of working together as a business to bring businesses here and to grow the economy and bring our kids back.
Well, you bring up the economy. I mean, what do you think of the general direction of Louisiana and our economy in Louisiana is right now?
It's terrible. I mean, we're in the 21st century and we're running this state like it's 1950. It's time to change. It's time to be pro-business. It's time to bring our kids back and make them want to come back. And right now, we need dramatic change on education. We need a dramatic change on how we deal with businesses. We need to bring the oil industry back. I mean, everybody says I'm against the oil industry. I'm not against the oil industry.
We talked about that last week. I mean, you're quite the opposite, correct?
I am the opposite, because I believe in, if we zero out the liability, we can bring back...
You mean the sort of the coastal liability?
Clear the coastal liability, clean up this state, and make them want to come back. And we can bring the oil industry back. We have to make the dramatic change in the state that we've needed for a long, long time, and not just because of the oil industry.
That's one of the things that you have talked about that's so different, and that is, for right now, for the Biden administration, they're taking the position that the 5-year plan on offshore drilling, they're just not even going to bring it up anymore. They're not going to discuss it. On the other hand, you've taken the position, if you clean up the coast and the liability gets cleaned up, then what you want is an industry that can drill and manufacture and produce, and the liability be gone.
Not only the liability be gone, but there are great operators in the state of Louisiana today, and there are great operators that want to come here in Louisiana.
In the oil and gas industry.
In the oil and gas industry,
yeah.
and get our industry and our people back to work and do it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's the key, is do it the right way, bring them back, grow the economy with zero liability, and let's move on.
One of the things that has been discussed in the last couple of weeks, Governor Ducey of Arizona has passed what they call the most Education Freedom Choice Act in the country, where basically the money follows the student rather than going to the county or the school board, or what. It follows the student. Wherever the student goes, whatever school the student decides to go to, the money follows. When you say dramatic change from Louisiana in education, that would be something that you'd want to look at, I would assume, huh?
Definitely. I mean, I have to study it, but my position on education is we have to get our kids to want to stay here. And our education, it needs a dramatic change in how we educate our kids, because our kids have to want to be educated. You can't make and force these kids to do something they don't want to do. So there's a lot of things that look at trade schools and getting these kids to be educated on the jobs we have for them in Louisiana. And
market sensitive.
Yeah. And make this a state where we promote working here, not promoting outside of the state.
Right.
So I think all of those programs are great programs to look at, and definitely the state of Louisiana needs a change in education.
But you would say that if you're not teaching the basics and doing the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic, you're not really accomplishing much, are you?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the kind of dramatic change Louisiana needs. We have a couple of things that I kind of call it the quick round, and we'll go ahead and get into a little bit of that. You give me quick answers to questions that people ask. One is like, you say you're a Republican. What's your position like on the Second Amendment?
I'm for it, Roy.
I mean, that's pretty much says it all right there. You're for it, you know. What about immigration, illegal immigration, and that sort of thing?
I'm for building the wall. I'm for keeping them out. This is the United States of America, and as long as you legally come here, then I think you should go through the process.
I got you. So now, John, if I've taken my cue properly, we can now go to a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And we appreciate John Carmouche for being a part of the program these last several weeks. We got some more segments with John, further conversations coming up into the new year as we approach Christmas.
Kevin, I had to put my microphone, just kind of hold it, because I had to go outside to do something quickly to get Kevin a check.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Ho, ho, ho.
And speaking of that, I know that today's been a kind of a downer in a way, a show, but Christmas is here, and that's really the one thing, the one light in this world that we have that gives us hope, and the birth of our Lord, and it's a great time of the year.
It is, and it's sometimes tough because sometimes bad things happen to people at the holidays. My God, we had people killed in fires Monday. 3 people in 3 separate fires in 3 separate cities in a 24-hour period in Louisiana. Then, of course, we had the tornadoes the week before. I suffered a death in my family a week ago. Sometimes bad things happen at Christmas, and bad things don't know that it's a holiday. It's just time for them to happen. But we take what little comfort we can, and for me, it's a great deal of comfort.
Yes,
in thinking about our Lord and the gift to mankind that he was and that he remains to this day. And I think it's just important to take some time and count your blessings and keep Christmas, as they say.
Yeah, gratefulness is sometimes a hard thing to do, to be grateful. But even with the problems that we have and the things that we've discussed, being grateful for what we have and the people that are in our lives and the people that have been in our lives is kind of a neat thing. And it keeps us going. It keeps us motivated. It keeps me getting up every day and fighting the fight, and certainly forgiveness and human decency matter still in this world. It matters a great deal.
It also matters to be kind. Be kind. Don't go forward doing anything to hurt anybody if you can possibly avoid it. And whenever possible, just be kind to people and be decent.
Yeah, and part of that is being truthful.
Yep.
And being direct and doing so in a way that you try to explain to people rather than scream at people. And that's a nice thing too.
Well,
but so we do extend our Christmas blessings and well wishes and say Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and to all, and we can't look. I'm kind of excited because next year we'll have a whole new program, and we'll be back with a somewhat different format and be talking about some things that really do matter.
So have yourself a merry little Christmas, and we'll see you again next week right here on Fletch Nation.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.